Hello, Internet, and welcome to the bathroom. This is Rail Survival, and I'll explain why I'm in here. I don't need to be anymore, but it was just a funny thing I discovered. So, I'm in my little bathroom, which I can't remember. I may have built this after the end of last episode. I may have put it in early. I don't know. So I've done a bunch of work on the base. As you can see out here, with a well, not fully, but nearly fully built base. And you'll note it's pressurized in here, which is good. As I was building this, you may remember at the end of last episode, I ground down the truck because it was out of power and I didn't think I needed it. I had medical equipment in here now. So yeah, got rid of that. And then spent in between episodes welding everything. Well, partway through welding, another one of those mega storms showed up. I didn't have any of the walls finished in here. So I was going to die of, radiation exposure mainly. Because I didn't have a pressurized space I could hide in. Except, I'd built the bathroom. So what I did, I got like half health. And then realized, oh, even though there's no vent in here, because I can close it off, it probably works to protect me. This is technically pressurized, or pressurizable. I guess it is pressurized because there's pressure. I don't know how it gets calculated. But anyway, I hid in the bathroom for about 10 minutes because I needed to wait for the storm to pass. So yeah, that was a fun little aside. In here, you can see our battery is disturbingly empty. I don't know, I mean, everything's built in here, but I think all the basic design stuff was done. All of up there was pretty much built, or placed. So I've got my nice bed, got a desk, which I think I did add. Can look out and see some additions out there. The bulk of what I was up to, though, is out here. I am about 90% there with, with the main base. So if we pop out front, you can kind of see it's not as thrilling from out here, but got the building, little side. I've got my industrial stuff. I realized that awkward too wide thing would be perfect to just stick the refinery in. So I did move the refinery, ran piping. The assembler's still over here. I could, if I decide later, I could add a second assembler if I need to. I doubt I will. But yeah, we've got catwalks. We can go over here and access our little upper mezzanine, which will probably be computer blocks up here, is I think what I'm gonna do. And then we also have access out to the outside, so the catwalks that I have running along, so I can get over here to the funicular to get up to the solar tower. Can walk along. I can go over here and get to the second refinery, which I set these up so I can get around the big things. So on the second refinery, and sort of my whole situation here, so obviously I'm very low on power. What I've found is that during the day, everything going on here, I can sort of just eke out to run the iron mine. But at night, that ability goes away. So interestingly, I got rid of the timers controlling this because the thing holding me up isn't the refinery, and in fact, I needed the refinery. Ideally, I just have the refinery going constantly because I needed a trickle of iron to get stuff built. I moved the timer blocks down onto the drill, So those guys are basically doing what they do at the nickel mine, which is when I run out of power, it turns the drill off. I don't think they triggered. I think I manually did it this go, but the battery you saw was pretty empty. So, yeah. And that's sort of where I'm at today. I kind of don't have enough stuff. I mean, I'm sort of, you know, most of the structure is done, but like these guys, they take like 350 steel plate a pop. In fact, I've got almost everything else in them except for the steel plate, just because I can't run my iron refinery at the moment because I'm out of power for it. There are other things. I think I'm very low on silicon now. Yes. I have 4.89 silicon. In fact, oh yeah, in fact, I ran out while I was producing motors, and that was my issue. So, yeah. I need to get some other stuff going. Something I may need to do too. It's hard to know. This was a lot of heavy iron production. These are all steel cubes. They take a lot of steel apiece. I think this is going to be the limit. This is like the most intensive I'm going to run into. Hopefully. So now that I'm mostly done with it, I think I'll be able to get by with just that mine. But in the short term, that mine, I may need to go and do some mining at my, I think it was over there somewhere, my emergency iron, just to get stuff to finish all this so that I don't have to worry about it. And I also need to go and, well, I'm going to have to hand mine silicon. Then maybe I just mine some stone while I'm mining the iron to get me started, but I think I do want to set up the silicon mine as well. So that at least I have silicon available, I have nickel available to mine over there. I think that was an unknown signal I was salvaging. So that's where we're at. To do all those things I just said, I need a truck. I also need, I found some weird things. Eat my last kelp. I found some banana beef, which is, I'm guessing, beef made of banana? I think there was another weird food. What was the other thing? I found a whole bunch of seeds. Oh, right, I found some hardtack. I have some synth loaf, which probably as good as anything else. And then a delicious unknown. So yeah, I've been going after a lot of unknown signals. Also, wait a minute. Ah, no. I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure I have plenty of kelp crisps somewhere. And we do. So anyway, truck. Truck is our goal for today. And to build it, because I don't have the parts, I'm gonna have to start ripping things apart in here. But once I get something I can use to go out and do some heavy mining, that should be enough to sort of push me back over the edge again so I can start producing and hopefully the goal is to eventually not need to rip my base apart to build a thing to continue building the base. That is what I'm hoping to get to. So. Oh, there have also been, reality has become slightly different. I can make a, I mean, it is a bed. It's, the bed part looks quite comfortable. I just don't know how, I guess you go in from the back. But anyway. So, I think as I go here, This thing can be fairly simple. As trucks go. So I think we'll have one of those guys. So I suppose I should talk a bit about what this truck's role is going to be as I build it. Because of course, immediately it's for gathering material, but after that, my plan is to have it... well, so it's going to help me with producing my railroad. And so, what the railroad is kind of decides what the truck is. So I should talk real quick about it. So my railroad, I intend to make, it's going to be sort of monorail-ish, but it will be what's known as a donglebahn, or a dangle train. Essentially, if I kind of build these guys, well, okay, that's as far as I go. This is the track. I'm going to use these beam blocks, and then I can use wheels, sort of, just envision the wheel head, but I can have wheels that sort of hug in, and then some more wheels that hold the sides, because you need those, but wheels that sort of ride inside that block that move along, and the train will actually sit down here in this area, under the track. So with this sort of elevated train setup, I'm going to need something that I can use to easily get up to the track to, you know, weld stuff up, look around, all that. So I kind of need something like a cherry picker type truck. A truck with a little bucket on an arm that I can use to raise myself up and look around. So that's what this guy's gonna have. This thing is going to be a cherry picker. Now... no, that's not where that'll live. I think I can make the... yes. I can make the fuel system on this thing simpler. Except... nah, yeah, that should work. So I'll have that there. So I have hydrogen engines on board and a battery. My plan is to find tanks. My plan is to have this thing primarily hydrogen powered. So I can fuel it up quickly with hydrogen fuel. It will run off that. It can generate its own power. And then the battery is there basically as backup, so I can always get it back to somewhere I can refuel it. But with that, I feel like that should work pretty well. And this should be a nice compact sort of cab area. I can even slap the eventual event controller down there. Didn't need to weld that up, but I did. Now I'm out of any steel. Yep. Alright, time to rip some steel out of the walls. So now we add our other wheels. And that should be a good enough frame. And I can kind of do everything I need to do with it. Now I do run... I do run the risk of bottoming out. But I should be good, because again, this planet is quite flat. And I should be able to... if I know I need to avoid bottoming out, I can avoid things where I would. And frankly, I just don't feel like changing the design or the wheel height now. Now the issue I'm going to run into is power cells. I'm gonna have to grind some things down to make them. Can take these computers out of this door. That gives us those. Right, so nickel I should be good on. How much iron do I actually... Yeah, it's just that 2.8 as well. So need a bit of silicon and a chunk of iron. So let's disassemble.
Energy low.
How many tubes do I have? 40. I'm gonna need a few, but they each have 10 iron in them. So if I disassemble 20, that should get me plenty of iron. And I have 37 glass. That should be enough silicon. Yeah, and I have plenty of nickel because I have access to it and don't use it all. Okay, construction components. What has a bunch of them? Those, but none of those are built. Except for this. Oh, and these. Let's... Free me. Let's figure out what we need for a cargo container. And then we can disassemble pretty much everything else we have to get the parts. I'm beginning to wonder. Should I scooch this up a bit? Maybe I do. Yeah, that's a better length. And I should still have room in here to stick hinge and rotor stuff for the bucket arm. Okay. So I just need a bunch of construction components. Let's see how many I can make. And I'm also out of jetpack juice. Okay. Let's disassemble the rest of the tubes I have. While that finishes up. Yeah, no, I can finish the rest of this on the ground, then drive this over to the fuel. Though I'll need parts to build... I have a plan for my fueling arm mechanism for how I get fuel into this. And I should build one over at the place, but I don't think I'll have the parts. Okay. Well, that's all that. There will be some more detailing I want to do, but at the very least, this is a running vehicle now. Hopefully it'll fit through the door when I'm done. Oh, and this is one of those radiation storms. Well, there'll be plenty of time to travel around. So. Ooh. Okay, I may need to tweak some things, but the truck seems to be doing what trucks should. One of my suspensions wasn't built. That's not great. And this thing moves pretty quick, but that'll probably lessen a bit when it's heavy. Let's have a handbrake. Oh good, and the storm is passing. Stick my bottles in here. Wait for them to empty a little bit. Oh, I also, for the amount of hydrogen I use, I figured I really don't need 2 of these. So I've just got the one generator, one wind turbine condensed down like the other one. Then I can put all my tanks and stuff out this way. Okay. Let's go get some iron so that we can at least do some building. Ooh, and actually, okay. The sun is coming up. So let's kick that on. That's not where I checked that. Battery. Yeah. So we're not doing great, but as the sun comes up, those will be getting better. All of the solar panels that I've sort of dotted along the roofs will start doing a little bit. They're mostly useless, but I figured a little bit helps. We'll see how well this thing runs, and if I need to do something like, you know, put a gyroscope on it. Probably would have been smart, but we'll say that I was saving parts. Seems to, you know, hold to the ground pretty well. It's not immediately tipping. And when I put a subgrid arm on top, that might change. Alright. Yay, mining by hand. Okay, well that's full. It's nice being able to actually fill the vehicle. Suspension's a little low. Also, which... we'll need more parts for that guy. Okay, let's make their suspension strength 10. Drop the front... No, we'll leave the front at 6. If it's a little bit rough and bouncy, that's probably for the best. Let me turn off braking on those front ones. But yeah, given... Well, granted, the front wheels... Yeah, the battery's behind the front wheels, and there's nothing down low in the front. So I probably could set the fronts a little softer. Like 4. Maybe 5. Just to improve the handling a little bit. Oh, now it feels like a truck. Now it's heavy. But yeah, still seems to track pretty well. I think this will be a good little frame. It does not like turning in here, though. Let's go ahead. We'll give the rear wheels just a little bit of steer. Oh, except for those aren't the rear wheels. These are. There we go. So now it somewhat works on blocks. Yeah, it's a good enough spot. In go the resources. And then we should have enough, hopefully, to get some more stuff done and rebuild this wall. So I've got my sort of crane arm out to this guy. So now I need to build my actual bucket. And I think what I'm going to do for it, I may need to move the truck. No. Right? Yeah, not that cockpit. Need this cockpit. Oh. Oh no, I need the parts. I think I can build it. Oh, maybe I... Oh. Okay, maybe I can't. That's a pain. So I can build it there. I want to let me build it on the hinge piece. If I just build one of these guys... Actually, maybe this is going to be how I want to do it. So if I stick that there... okay, if I stick this... There. If I stick this here... I can then put a hinge there, grind out its part,
fuel low.
Put a part there, and I should be able to build the pistons, connect these
fuel
up.
critical.
And that's actually at a better height. It doesn't look like a very secure connection, but I think that'll work better. My whole idea here, I want to use this helm because this gives me a cockpit from which I can control this mechanism. And with a cockpit here, it'll make it a lot easier for me to do all the maneuvering I want to do without, dumping myself out of the thing. Let's go get some more fuel real quick. And the nice thing about in here, one of the main reasons I wanted to get this built before building the truck, is I get to build in here without risking radiation exposure. I wanted it to be fully enclosed, because then I'd be safe even during storms, but, that requires things. So now we position this. Just like so. Attach and quickly grind. Just to make sure no clang occurs. Now the trick is gonna be... How well will this work? Oh. Not very well because of how that is. hopeful I can make this and I can like hop in from the ground without too much issue. Yeah. There we go. So now I can get up here. I can get in control. I need a turret controller. Hopefully I can make one of them. Oh. There it is right there. Okay. I should have the basics set up here. So if I, from here, control the thingy. Yeah. I'm gonna probably have to reverse some things. That seemed to work pretty well. I would love to have a setup so that that rotor was tied to that one, but I don't think there's a good way to do that. Because if I'm right, an event controller, right, I can check angle. Angle changed. But that's just a trigger when something's greater than I would have to have for however many angles I want this to move through, however many degrees, I'd have to have that many event controllers. I think that might be a bit excessive. So you know what I may do is actually, I may explore, there's some scripts that work for these sorts of things that might be a little better than, well, this. I also, do I have share inertia tensor? Yes, I do. That might be a little better, maybe. That's better. All right. Well, that is a truck built at the very least. Actually, hold on. Last thing to do is let's style this so it's a little nicer looking. All right. I'd say that looks pretty truck-like. A big beefy front that you can just barely see over. Probably not going to be the most accurate for close parking or keeping children alive, but it'll work well for lifting things and carrying things, which is what I need it to do. So, I think that's where I'm going to call it for today. We've got a truck. I've got some other things I need to get built, namely a silicon mine, but that stone I mined seemed to give me enough to get this done. And I may be able to get the rest of the base done, or at the very least, I can go and mine some more stone to get some more silicon to finish this off. So hopefully next time, the entire base will be done. And then we can maybe get started, well, I think we will, get started on trains. So for now, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out the other stuff I've done, and until next week, bye-bye.